Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Worthit Podcast. And not only is it a new episode, but it is the very first episode of Season 2. Yay! We get to count all the way from the start again and hopefully get the numbers correct. Unlike last time where I think we missed out like 3 or 4 episodes, didn't we, Alex?
Indeed, yeah. True.
Yeah, it was a bit dodgy. What was it, like 13 and number like 8 or something like that we just completely missed off the map?
Something like that, yeah.
Hopefully in this season, maybe we might get it right this time, but I don't know. Who knows? But here we are. Once again, we're still in lockdown. We're still kind of doing our thing via Zoom this time rather than the Google Meet or Skype or Discord or anything like that. And I guess nothing's really changed in the way in which we make films at all, apart from the fact that we're kind of still out making our documentary stuff. We were able to go back out and film the likes of Dirt, which we'll talk a little bit about as we get into the podcast. But we also did something very interesting. Today, in fact, the day that we're recording the podcast, we were able to do our first online short film. And yes, of course, we're going to explain a little bit more about that as well. But first things first, you may notice that there's something a little bit different on screen if you're watching it over on YouTube. Yes, we do have a brand new rebrand and a brand new style going forward into the future. I'm kind of calling it like the final rebrand because I'm fed up of changing the logo and I'm fed up of changing the style. I want to actually lock in and I guess stay with the specific theme that we've got right now. It needs to stay, and that's it. I'm not changing anymore. I promise. Alex, I promise I'm not changing anymore. But tell me, Alex, whenever you look at like rebrandings and you change logos and change themes, is there a particular reason why a company does it over just staying the same?
I think it's cohesion, really. I mean, if you look at stuff like Apple, every time they've changed their logo, they've maintained the shape, obviously the iconic shape of their logo, but it's stuff like when they had like a skeuomorphic design, the logo followed suit and it was more 3D, and now that they've gone more for like 2D, their logos are more, obviously flat. So yeah, it's just I think it's just cohesion really, and just keeping up with modern design.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's about like that following that theme, isn't it? And if people are looking at all these big companies and their big logos being very a set style, then you've got to kind of follow suit and almost be like a sheep. I know sometimes it's important to say, oh, be unique and be yourself and be your own, but sometimes when it comes to set designs and like business itself, it's kind of easier to go with the flow as such. So the new logo and the way in which we designed Worthit's logo for the likes of social media and for the likes of anything that's public facing, it's more simplistic. We've gotten rid of the text, so it doesn't say Worthit anymore on the text. It's just got the logo in like what I can only describe as like a pin badge format. So it just looks like something that you quite nicely have a pin on your jacket or whatever. So it's simpler. It's I guess a better colour as well. The colour is less of a dull green. It's a brighter, more interesting colour too. So yeah, I'm happy with the change in the logo. There's something else. Not only do we change logos and change our face as such when we do a rebrand, but we also change the style in which we make stuff too. So formats and structures for certain videos will change. And of course, we set what is known as like a company Bible, where people who are new or people who are coming by know exactly the structure of Worthit and exactly what we look like and what we do. So, the way in which we post content onto social media or the way in which we post stuff onto YouTube, for example, our 2 days a week that we do on a Wednesday is obviously the show, the podcast. And then, of course, on I think is it a Friday or a Sunday or one of those days we do the Look Closer episode. So yeah, all of that kind of stuff's going to stay the same, and we're going to keep trying to post the podcast as much as we can. Depending on availability, of course. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about filmmaking, Alex, and more importantly, let's talk about this interesting little project that we just filmed today. I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, so today was really interesting actually for filming because it's certainly the first time I've done it where it was all directed and all shot from home and directing over Zoom, which was, something which was brand new to me. So yeah, it was really interesting, definitely.
It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Having to literally set everything up, even your sets, all of your camera kit is all owned by the actors and actresses. Everything is done by them. And it's really strange, as somebody who's quite used to crewing up on set and doing all the bits and pieces and work and setting up lenses and cameras and all that jazz. It's really weird to take the step back and just watch other people do it and just wait and just wait and wait and wait.
Yeah,
and wait.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. So obviously, as you can tell there, we filmed a short film over the use of Zoom. And when we say over Zoom, we all sat in our own individual bedrooms, and we had Ella, our director, we had yourself, Alex, as the editor, and any tech issues, you were on it. Myself was there as well, just to shout at people and tell people what to do. And then we had our two wonderful cast who were doing their actual filming. And what's quite nice about the structure of this story is it really helps the filmmaking process anyway. The good story helps the filmmaking process. What's quite interesting about it was all based over a video call. So it was a guy and a girl video calling each other about their relationship, and there was this accidental confession towards the end, but I won't spoil it, of course. So yeah, that in nature makes it a lot easier to film, because obviously all you need to do is set up like a webcam style video, and maybe if you want to add some other bits and pieces, ask them to set up the camera in a different location and get a shot. But mainly, heavy reliance on making it look like a webcam as such. Alex, you're designing the UI layout for the actual Skype service. Do you have any ideas of what you want it to look like? Or?
Yeah, I think just something that's not too noticeable, really, because it's not meant to get in the way. It's just something that's meant to bring, like, I guess, a degree of realism to it. Just stuff that would normally be there. You've got your buttons or stuff like that. Just to make the user feel a bit more engaged, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. No flashy stuff that kind of distracts the viewer from what's actually going on, the important bit, the actual story segment. So yeah, there was an interesting shot that we got them to do where we actually asked them to place the camera behind the shoulder. So we do it over the shoulder shot so they can see, the actor, their shoulder, and then in front of them was the actual setup that they've got. And the way in which we wanted to do that is because we are designing our own UI layout. We asked them to actually play on YouTube a full screen video of a green screen, just green colour, so that we can actually then, sandwich on our layout, and so we can actually see the other actor or actress on the other side. And it's just those little tiny bits and pieces that we had to work around and try and, I guess, fiddle with to make it right. And of course, we don't have any expectation of it to be like movie quality or cinema quality. But actually, I'm very surprised with the footage. What do you think of the footage?
Yeah, I mean, considering the circumstances that we've had, I think it's come out really, really well. Like we were just talking before about the audio that's come out of it is, really, really good. And obviously we know that the actors themselves had decent quality microphones, so that helped a lot. But yeah, no, I think it for the circumstances that we had, it's come out really, really well.
Yeah, and as you said then, decent quality microphones. It's something that we kind of mentioned when we were actually casting for anybody who wanted to apply. They had to have a microphone of decent quality that wasn't just a phone microphone. Plus also they had to have a decent enough quality camera. So, our phone cameras will do it most times because you can shoot in 1080 4K. Some of the new Samsungs can shoot in 8K as well, which is very silly and crazy, a bit over the top. But you have it anyway. So yeah, we can shoot in really high quality now on mobile phones. It's just that sometimes the audio on phones is a little bit tinny and a little bit naff as such. So the emphasis on them having their own microphones was something that we needed to get across to them whenever we were casting for the project. It's quite handy, isn't it? Because a lot of actors and actresses that are applying for stuff like this also do voiceover work as well. So we found that there was quite a lot of voiceover artists that were applying for the role and had very good quality microphones to use as well, which is really, really useful.
Definitely.
So yeah, I mean, sometimes I listen to some of the audio on the playback and think, damn, this is better than some of our short films that we filmed. The audio is yeah, it is, isn't it? It's like audio is vitally important whenever shooting any project at all. And if you've got crap audio for a project, you may as well just bin it. There's no point in actually submitting anything. So yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, this project will look absolutely fantastic when it ever goes out online as such. So let's, I guess, move swiftly on and talk about our other filmmaking ventures that are currently ongoing. And more importantly, let's talk about Dirt, because
Yes.
Dirt was such a fun project, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Definitely one of the more fun projects I've ever done, definitely.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know what it is about documentary, but if you pick the right topic, it's so interesting to go in and just get on with it and do it. Especially when it's like adventure or action or going out and about and exploring new things that you don't really know about before. Something like that. The idea of knowledge and gaining more knowledge, I don't know, it's something that has always really interested me in general. And Dirt was one of those particular themes that I really wanted to know more about and get more involved with. So go on then, Alex, give us a little brief. What was Dirt about?
So Dirt was following one of the many bikers who go down to Thurston, and his name was Edward Terry, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it,
and he basically was just showing us around like the track that he uses and why he goes biking as he does. And it was really fun to shoot. You know, we got some like really nice slow motion shots, and you know, a decent interview. And yeah, it was just, you know, really, really nice.
Yeah, he was super good on the interview, wasn't he? He like literally nailed it, start to finish.
Definitely.
I don't even think we had to retake any of that interview at all.
No, it was straight one shot.
I literally think he just went, yeah, it's brilliant. So, you know, let's obviously talk a little bit about the actual filmmaking part of it. You know, we got down there, obviously, maintaining social distancing. We all had masks on and stuff like that. One of our biggest emphasis is on filming on that day was trying to get slow motion and jumps and trying to get as many like cool looking stuff as possible, because it's all great and it's all good and well shooting the interview part, which is quite important to get the story across, but if you don't have any good B-roll to go alongside it, then you kind of like boxing yourself into a corner with availability for footage and stuff. So we actually looked at it, didn't we, before we went out on shot. We actually had a little plan in our heads of how many clips and stuff we wanted to shoot to fit into that timeline sequence. And you know, as we got along and as we shot more stuff, there was a lot of jumping, wasn't there? There was loads.
Definitely,
like
yeah.
The amount of times that Ed like fully sent it over there and jumps and stuff was just crazy, absolutely crazy.
Definitely.
And I think what happens a lot on set is you can do all this planning before you go out, but when you go out on set, there's always that little bit extra that pops up every now and again. If you don't grab the opportunity, you don't ever get the shot, so you don't ever get that take that you want to get. And I think that happened quite, it's quite apparent on, I think, was it the second day that we shot? Yeah, because Jake was there and that. On the second day that we shot, that slow-mo shot of Ed coming round the corner, tyre kicking up the mud. Remember that shot?
Yes, yeah, I know exactly which one.
That was like perhaps the best shot that we took of that entire project. And
Definitely.
it was just out of note. We didn't really want to have that shot as such in. It just happened to be that we were at that angle at that time at 120 FPS, and it just looked absolutely amazing. So go on, Alex, talk me through your process about shooting in mixed frame rates and why you'd choose shooting at a higher frame rate over shooting in a normal as such fixed frame rate.
Yeah, well, like anything, you know, if you shoot in a higher frame rate, you've got more flexibility in post, really, to do what you want in terms of like making speed ramps or just generally slowing footage down. And that was something that especially was, you know, good for this project, because you can choose how fast the footage is and also sync that with your music to make sure that it does work well. So obviously that results in, you know, things like larger file sizes, but also you have to compensate for that with the amount of light that your camera gets, because obviously if you increase the frame rate of your camera, you also have to increase the shutter speed to compensate. So reducing therefore your light. So I guess when we were shooting, we had to make sure that the ambient light around us was also good enough to shoot in slow motion. And that was something that we were fortunate was all right. Yes, it was a bit rainy, but the light, I guess, was good enough.
Yeah.
Especially on the first day as well. It was really sunny, which was good. So yeah, so that's something to keep in mind. But honestly, it's a lifesaver for post-production, really.
Yeah. Especially apparent in documentary, mixed frame rate and shooting slow-mo is so important with documentary filmmaking. I wouldn't say it was as important with films and stuff, unless you're doing a particular action sequence where you need to do a slow motion punch or something like that, or a backflip or whatever. I don't really think it's that necessary in drama filmmaking, especially. But yeah, as you say, the likes of getting the documentary shots and doing stuff like that, making sure there's nice slow-mo shots is vital, really vital to have just a nice spread as such. And what's quite nice as well is even though you shoot in slow motion, you can always speed it back up and make it into normal speed too, so you have two sets of footage just in case. So if you shoot in slow motion, you can always take it back and have it in normal speed, but you can never make slow motion out of normal footage.
True.
So what you mentioned then about light and having to increase the shutter speed, yes, that is definitely a thing. Obviously, if you don't touch your shutter speed at all, it look horrible. But then what was quite nice is even though it was dead sunny on the first day and quite cloudy on the second day, the idea of shooting in slow motion and getting all those shots in slow-mo, it made the entire project have this like mood and this feel, which is really nice. It was like that kind of like dark, dirty environments that the bikers obviously enjoyed loads. And I feel like if we'd have shot in normal on the first day and then shot in normal on the second day, you'd be able to tell so clearly that one day was sunny and the other day was cloudy and pretty much raining. It did rain a bit, didn't it, on the second day?
Yeah, so that was like during our interview, wasn't it? Which was like the worst time for it to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. And it didn't even like rain light either. It rained pretty hard as well. It's that horrible misty rain that seems just to get everybody wet, no matter what. But we're quite lucky. We're covered by plenty of trees and plenty of wildlife around us and stuff to mask all the rain and to make it okay eventually. But yeah, it was a pretty dodgy day to say the least. I think I remember like trying to rush towards the end to get all of the footage shot before Ed decided it was too wet and too dangerous for him to do any more jumps. I was like, come on, we got this. Come on, let's just move on quick. Let's get up and go. But yeah, it was close, man. If it had rained any harder, I don't think we'd have been able to shoot half of the decent footage that we shot.
True.
I remember him saying, right at the very start, he always mentioned to me, you might get some good crashes as well. But what I noticed is that even though they were really going hard at the jumps and stuff, they didn't actually crash that much at all. There was one that we got, wasn't there? There was one individual crash that we got the entire couple of days. He rode really well.
Yeah.
And we managed to get that for the behind the scenes, which is pretty damn funny. But yeah, if you do want to check out Dirt, of course, it'll be available on our Vimeo channel. You can also go and vote for it. It was actually a project that was made for the Music Bed Reopen Challenge, and it's a film festival that I think there's over 900 films that are entered into this particular film festival. I'll place it into the description down below, so you can go and check it out. And then vote for us, of course. Voting is free. You can vote once a day. And if you want to go and check it out and have a look at the film, shot in 4K, looks absolutely beautiful. I do highly recommend you go and check it out. But yeah, let's move swiftly on and talk about some other bits and pieces. We talked about the short film that we made recently. We talked about the documentary. We had a little chat about the rebranding stuff. But let's also talk about the future projects and what we're like working towards as such, because you can tell now the world is starting to sort of reopen again. Everyone's kind of getting back out to it, but we don't want to rush ourselves too much in case of any complications or any problems or anything like that. We kind of want to keep it on the down low. So we're actually looking at developing more from home as such, short films and stuff. So we've got three short film projects that are almost ready to go and ready to be launched. The project we just mentioned, and what we just shot. We've got 2 more after that as well, which I'm quite excited about and getting on with and making more content. I guess we can also talk about Steve Prudence hard at work behind the scenes, trying to write some more Exploration Nation content. I think it's probably a good time to talk about that Randonaut or Randonautica episode. We tried the app, the crazy app that everyone's been talking about at the minute. Do you know it's like pretty... What's the word for it? Infamous? Should we say infamous?
Yeah, I think that's the right word, yeah.
Have you heard the dodgy stuff that's been going on with people finding dead bodies and stuff like that?
So I didn't know anything about this app before I showed up for the shoot. Like nothing too much. And then as I was walking down to the car to start the shoot, I was walking alongside Steve.
Yeah.
And he was telling me all these stories about
Yeah.
how about people finding like dead bodies with this app and stuff. And it was like, what is going on? But yeah, it's just very strange, isn't it?
It is a bit odd, isn't it? So somebody pressed randomize on their app and went to the location. And when they turned up, there was a suitcase, right? Opened the suitcase, dead body inside. It turns out there's an update. There wasn't just one dead body. There was 2 dead bodies dismembered inside that suitcase, which is...
Oh my God.
A bit strange, isn't it? A bit odd.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really glad that we didn't pursue those episodes or that recording any further.
Yeah.
Just in case anything dodgy was happening at all with the app and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a crisis avoided, I guess. But we are trying to do different things and trying to get out and go and explore for documentary filmmaking purposes, because we are able to go out and about, socially distance, and bring a very small film crew along with us. You know, we only really have myself, a camera operator, and a sound person there anyways, so it kind of all works really, and we have a nice little setup going. So hopefully in the near future you'll see Steve in another special episode of Exploration Nation. We did the Welsh Rainforest, didn't we, before lockdown? That went really well, and we really want to kind of get out and go somewhere again and film more content. So fingers crossed it'll come about, but who knows in what way and how, and we don't want to find any dead bodies or cause any problems. So no, along the way, I know, crazy. But yes, that is it for today's episode of the Worthit Podcast. We just talked all things change and change for the better. Indeed, change for the better. So thank you very much, Alex, for popping along for this episode. I do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
It's been fun once again, and of course, if you do want to come check us out, have a look at all of our social media channels, just type in Worthit Productions. It should pop up right to the top, because I'm sure that there's just us floating around somewhere. There is Worthit as well, which is a random Christian website who... I'm not going to go there though. So, so yeah, come on over and follow us over on social media, of course. And if you do, or you are for that matter, watching us on YouTube, we do have a Spotify version as well. If you want to go and check that out, I'll leave the link down in the description below. And of course, vice versa, if you're listening to our wonderful voices and you want to come and see our ugly faces, then come and check us out over on YouTube. We do have a video version of the podcast too. So yeah, thank you very much, guys, for watching and listening along. I do appreciate it. And I'll speak to you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.